Rebuilding trust. The foundation we forgot we needed. Alright, let's give this a go. Episode 9. And today we're talking about something you can't touch. Something you can't measure with a graph. You can't legislate into existence. But somehow it controls everything. Trust. We don't talk about trust enough, even though it's the backbone of every single thing that keeps society running. Government, schools, law enforcement, business, community, even the little day-to-day stuff like letting your kid ride their bike or borrowing a tool from your neighbor, all of that depends on trust. And right now, we're running on empty. People don't trust institutions. People don't trust the systems. People don't trust leaders. People barely trust the news. People barely trust each other. Half the time, people barely trust themselves. We've hit this point where everyone feels like they're on the defense, waiting for the next disappointment, the next lie, the next bait and switch, and the next promise with an asterisk. And the worst part, nobody wants it to be this way. People don't enjoy being cynical. People don't enjoy being guarded. People don't enjoy feeling like every new idea is just another way to get burned. Trust didn't collapse because people became irrational. It collapsed because people watched the world around them crack while officials kept smiling and acting like everything was fine. It collapsed because people said, "Hey, we're not okay," and they were told, "Well, according to this report, you should be." It collapsed because people saw open drug use, rising homelessness, rising violence, rising costs, and instead of being heard, they felt dismissed. Trust dies fast when people feel unheard. And trust dies even faster when people feel unheard and blamed for noticing the problem. And the truth is, trust is the foundation. And ours is cracked. And you already know what happens when a foundation cracks. The walls lean, the floors warp, the framing shifts. Everything starts showing stress fractures. And that's what Washington feels like right now. A structure with just enough foundation left to keep the roof up, but not enough to feel safe living inside. But here's the part I don't want anyone to miss. Foundations can be fixed and they can be rebuilt. It's not hopeless. It's not gone. It just needs real work. Not a political spin, not fake optimism, not we'll study the issue for the 40th time. Just honesty. Structure, consistency, accountability, humanity, results people can actually see with their own eyes. Those are the building blocks of trust, and right now we need all of them. So, how do we rebuild trust? Not in theory, but in real human ways. We can start by telling the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. People can handle the truth. They truly can. What they can't handle is being lied to while their lived experience says otherwise. We start by being consistent, not one set of rules for the public and another for the leadership. Accountability has to go both ways. People are fine being held to standards as long as they're not the only ones being held to them. We start by actually fixing things, physically fixing them, because people trust what they can see. A repaired road builds more trust than a 30-page policy PDF. We start by listening, and actually listening. Not nodding politely, not pretending, not waiting for your turn to talk, but listening in a way that says, "I hear you, your experience matters." We start by simplifying systems so normal people can actually function in them. Nobody trusts a system that's so complicated it feels like a trap. And we start by bringing humility back into leadership. People don't trust perfection. They trust honesty, and they trust someone who says, "I don't have all the answers, but I'm here to work." That's how trust grows. Not all at once, but inch by inch. Trust is built in small moments, not grand gestures. Because the truth is, nothing in this entire series works without trust. You can't fix addiction without trust between communities and treatment programs. You can't fix homelessness without trust between the public and the system. You can't fix affordability without the trust that changes genuinely help people. You can't rebuild law enforcement accountability without trust on both sides of the badge. You can't redesign roads, zoning, housing, or transit unless people trust the intent behind the blueprint. Trust is the invisible foundation under everything we're trying to fix, and it's been ignored for far too long. But here's the good news. Trust is not a lost cause. It's rebuildable, it's repairable, it's redeemable. And maybe, just maybe, the first step is simply acknowledging the fracture. If we can start talking honestly again, if we can start listening without assuming the worst, if we can start solving instead of scoring points, if we can start treating each other like neighbors instead of opponents, then trust can grow again, slowly, quietly, brick by brick. Hope isn't gone, it's just waiting for a reason to return. And before we close out, I want to invite you into this project. If there's something you see, something that feels broken, something nobody is talking about, something that deserves attention, and something we need to unpack for the sake of this community, tell me, message me, comment it, lay it out plainly. If it's something real, something meaningful, I'll make a segment about it. I'll break it down with the same honesty we've been using through this entire series, because this isn't just my voice. This project is supposed to be our voice, a community voice, a Washington voice, a human voice. If something's not right, say it. If something needs a spotlight, call it out. And maybe together, brick by brick, we might start rebuilding that foundation again. Hope isn't gone. We just have to build something worth trusting.